When you're in an ambulance, there are pretty much some golden things that you never want to hear come out of your medic's mouth. Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another episode of Day in the Life of Templar74 podcast. And today we're going to talk about a couple more of my little paramedic adventures. And so if I tell people that if you're calling for 911, if you're calling for an ambulance, you're having the worst day of your life. And there are some times where that's true, and then there are some times where you're just a taxi to go to the hospital. On that note, there are some things when you're in that back seat or in that cot in the back, there are things you never want to hear your paramedic say. And probably the biggest one that comes to my mind would be, hey partner, drive faster, after they look at the monitor. If you hear your paramedic saying that, we tell people not to panic, but if you hear the paramedic saying that, there's probably something really going on with you. Normally, paramedics will explain it. Sometimes they don't want to stress you out too much more. But when you hear that sign, you're like, oh no. I had a gentleman that was sitting there talking to me one day, and he had called for chest pain, and we were just sitting there shooting the breeze, building the rapport, and we did something called an EKG on him. And I was like, okay, let's see what this says, and we'll go from there. And he's like, fair enough. And so we're going down the road, and he's talking to me. He's alert. He's happy. He's not complaining of shortness of breath or nothing. And I look at that monitor, and I just look down at him and look back at that monitor. And then I looked at my partner, or I poked my head through the front and told my partner, hey, guy, drive faster. And the reason for that was his blood pressure was completely in the toilet. I mean, we're sitting there talking to you when you've got a blood pressure like 32/15 or something like that. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. And you're looking at the EKG rhythm and it's all over the place. It's like, yeah, we're not going to stay and chat anymore. You'll still try to be professional and shoot the breeze with him and try to casually explain what's going on without throwing him into a full-blown panic, because you're worried that if he gets too worked up, he's going to code on you, and then that's a whole nother nightmare in itself. But yeah, that's normally one phrase you never want to hear come out of the paramedic's mouth. And then another one that I think was, it's really one of those, and how did you do that exactly? If you have a paramedic questioning just how you did it, it's because you've either completely stumped them or they're just like, how is that even possible? And the one that comes to my mind is getting called for a gentleman that fell off a ladder. And instantly, if you fall off a 10-foot ladder, you're instantly a trauma. So your mind's working with blah, 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 blah. And you walk up to the guy and he's laying on the ground, and PD is holding a piece of stake, like a construction pole, and you look down, he's talking to you, and he's like, yeah, I fell off the ladder, but surprisingly, this doesn't hurt at all. And you look up, and the officer's just pale white and barely able to compose himself, and you're asking him, hey, are you all right? And he's like, yeah, he says it makes him feel... It makes him feel more comfortable when I do. And you're sitting there thinking, okay, please don't pass out. Please don't pass out. Please don't pass out. And sure enough, about 5 seconds later, officer falls over. So then you have to look at the guy and be like, well, on the plus side, you get to have a partner with you in the ambulance. Because we ended up having to take both of them to the hospital. So that was not a fun experience for everybody. So you're sitting there and you're asking him how exactly he did it. And normally, depending on how somebody asks you that question, you'll be able to tell really quick, is this a question that they're happy to be asking or I need to be worried about them asking? But yeah, so anyway, everybody, that's the second story of the day out of the way. Like I said, just wanted to do another brief little episode for you guys to just kind of keep this thing going and keep it alive. If you enjoy these, be sure to let me know so that I can gauge whether I keep doing these or not. But for right now, everybody, as always, keep the comments coming. I enjoy hearing them. All right, everyone, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody. I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.